Welcome to the deep dive. If you're one of the millions who's followed the playbook, waking up early, hustling, getting the education, doing all the right things, and yet you still feel like you're just running on a treadmill, this deep dive is definitely for you. Maybe you're earning more than ever, but somehow the money always seems to run faster.
Yeah, that feeling of being stuck,
Mm.
right? Despite putting in all the effort. That's really the core tension in the source material we're looking at today. Excerpts from the 5 rules of building wealth no one teaches you.
Okay.
And the authors suggest the issue isn't your work ethic. It's not your labor. It's your financial operating system.
Okay, let's dig into that. When you say operating system, you mean like the deep programming we pick up from school, from culture.
Exactly. We're taught how to earn a salary. Be obedient, show up, follow the rules.
Right, get the job.
But we're almost never taught how money actually works. Things like building assets, using leverage, or even just having the right mindset for wealth.
Yeah, it's like schools teach us memorization, but not really multiplication in the financial sense, like compound interest or building things that grow.
Precisely. And the core idea here, it's kind of a wake-up call, really. True wealth, it says, isn't built by luck or labor. It's built by the courage to think differently when everyone else obeys the rules.
Oh, okay.
So our mission today is to cut through that noise, I guess, and unpack these 5 kind of counterintuitive rules that seem to separate the financially free from the perpetually busy.
So if the old advice is maybe flawed, where do we even start? It sounds like we have to go right to the root, the belief system, which I guess brings us straight to rule number 1. Money is a mindset before it's a math.
Yeah, and I think, we've all been there. Believing wealth is just a numbers game.
Totally.
If I can just save this much or get that raise, then the anxiety will go away. But the author talks about experiencing this directly, watching their net worth go up. But that feeling of uncertainty, anxiety, it never really lifted.
That track.
The problem wasn't the number on the spreadsheet. It was the story in their head.
That's so critical. It reminds me of that idea that money is almost like a mirror, reflecting your beliefs back at you. If you secretly believe deep down that money is hard to get, or maybe that being rich is somehow bad, you'll kind of work to make sure you stay right where you are, won't you?
Absolutely. It's like money responds more to your energy, your confidence, than just pure effort.
Right.
And this is where the source gives this really practical, powerful technique. Instead of saying, I can't afford that, which, let's face it, it's like telling your brain to just stop thinking.
Yeah, shuts it down.
You immediately flip it. You ask, how can I afford it?
Okay, that small language shift feels big. I can't is a dead end. It accepts the limitation.
Exactly.
But asking how can I forces your brain to switch gears, right? From scarcity to creative problem solving mode. It starts hunting for solutions, leverage, maybe new income ideas, value opportunities.
It shifts your identity from just being a consumer to potentially being a creator or a problem solver.
Yeah.
And often the reason we default to that, I can't, is because of what the source calls these invisible stories we inherit. The stuff we grew up hearing.
Oh, yeah. Money doesn't grow on trees.
Right. Or you have to work your fingers to the bone. Or maybe even subtle things like rich people are greedy, or it's noble to struggle.
And those messages, they just sink in, don't they? And they can quietly sabotage you, even when you're working really hard.
Totally. If you believe deep down that wealth is dangerous or bad, your subconscious might just steer you away from it without you even realizing. Whereas the wealthy, they tend to operate with a narrative of, abundance, confidence. They see money as a tool neutral, really for freedom, for creation. And that inner belief, it seems, has to come before the big bank balance.
Yeah.
And that inner belief, that mindset shift, it leads right into the huge behavioral change needed for Rule 2. Stop trading time for money.
Okay.
Which means challenging that massive phrase we all know, time is money.
Right, the classic. But if time literally equaled money, then the hardest workers, the people putting in 80-hour weeks, doing physical labor, they'd be the richest, wouldn't they?
Exactly. But we know that's often not the case. Some of the wealthiest people might spend their days reading, thinking, strategizing. Their hourly wage isn't really the point.
So the core issue is trading hours for dollars is just slow.
And
kind of fragile.
It's the slowest, most fragile way, according to the source, because time, that's the one thing you absolutely cannot get more of. It's non-renewable.
Run out of time, run out of income. Simple as that.
Yeah. So the wealthy person's approach is about separating income from time. And the way they do that is through leverage.
Okay, leverage. That word gets used a lot. Let's define it clearly. What does the source mean by financial leverage here?
So leverage in this context, it's basically the ability to multiply your output without having to proportionally increase your input, your time, your effort. And the source talks about a few main types. Capital using other people's money, like investors, media reaching tons of people with one message, code building software or digital things that scale easily, and people hiring or delegating tasks.
Got it. So the core idea is making something once.
And letting it continue to work, continue to earn, ideally without much more of your direct time involved.
Right. That's the builder's mindset you mentioned earlier. It's not about running faster on the treadmill. It's about like building the treadmill factory.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. The source has that great example, remember? The person who built a small online course. They put in maybe 40 hours, let's say, one time, to create the course, the system. And then that system just keeps earning money while they're sleeping, traveling, or maybe working on their next big thing.
That's the strategic difference, isn't it? True wealth isn't just a high salary. It's the ability to earn a dollar without having to physically show up for it.
Exactly. So the pivotal question to ask yourself shifts completely. Stop asking, how can I earn more per hour?
And start asking.
Start asking, how can I make this hour create something that earns potentially forever? That changes everything. Your whole relationship with work goes from just transactional to potentially exponential.
And that leads us perfectly into Rule 3, which feels like maybe one of the tougher pills to swallow for people who really pride themselves on hard work. People don't pay for effort, they pay for impact.
Yeah, it is painful because we often equate effort with value, don't we? We think, I worked so hard on this.
Right. I put in 100 hours weeding this garden.
Exactly. But if your neighbor hires someone who uses, I don't know, some super effective weed killer and gets the job done perfectly in 30 minutes for $50.
My neighbor values the result, the weed-free garden, not my sweat and blisters.
Precisely. The marketplace ultimately doesn't reward effort just for effort's sake. It rewards results. It rewards transformation. It rewards value delivered.
Okay, so how do we define value then in a practical way? Especially if I'm not, say, selling a physical product. How do I shift from being paid for my time to being paid for my impact?
Value is really about the degree to which you solve a significant problem for someone or deliver a transformation they really need or want.
Okay.
Think about that analogy. The plumber who fixes a really complex, disastrous leak in just 10 minutes.
Yeah.
They're not getting paid for those 10 minutes of wrench turning. They're paid for the years of training, the expertise, the specialized knowledge, the scarcity of that skill that allowed them to stop a potential $10,000 flood damage problem before it happened.
Ah, okay. So it's the outcome they enabled.
Yes, that's the focus shift.
Yeah.
Stop thinking primarily like an employee trading time. Start thinking like a problem solver, delivering specific, valuable outcomes.
So the goal is to identify and then maximize the work that maybe only you can do, the high leverage stuff that really moves the needle for the client or the company or the customer.
Exactly. And that connects back to the strategy of building what the source calls compound skills.
Compound skills, what are those?
These are skills that kind of multiply the effectiveness of all your other skills. Think about things like great communication, marketing yourself or your ideas, negotiation, strategic thinking, investing.
Okay, so they amplify everything else.
Right. If you learn how to communicate your value better or market yourself effectively, every single technical skill you have suddenly becomes more visible, more valuable. That's why you invest time in skills that keep opening doors, not just skills for one specific task.
All right, let's move on to Rule 4. And this one feels huge because I think this is where even people who start making good money can really get tripped up. Master the psychology of money, the invisible game.
Oh, absolutely. The source is really clear on this. Money is not logical. It's deeply, profoundly emotional.
If it were logical, every math whiz or accountant would be rolling in it.
Exactly. But the real game, the one that determines whether you keep and grow money, is played inside your own head. It's ruled by emotions, fear, greed, impatience. And maybe the biggest one, comparison.
Comparison.
Yeah. And the author had this insight. Money basically just amplifies who you already are.
Right. So if you're naturally anxious or fearful, more money might just make you more paranoid. You hoard it or panic, sell investments at the wrong time.
Totally. Or if you're undisciplined or impulsive, more money just means bigger, faster ways to spend impulsively. The source suggests managing your emotions around money is actually way harder than earning it in the first place.
Wow. Okay. And you mentioned comparison. How does that kill wealth?
Well, think about it. You get a raise, you hit a goal. Great. But then immediately you look around. You see what your peers have, what's on social media.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah, and you feel this pressure, maybe internal, maybe external, to upgrade. Bigger house, fancier car, designer labels. The source calls it insecurity dressed in designer labels.
Whoa, that's a powerful image. So you're essentially digging yourself into a deeper financial hole just to project a certain status.
Yeah.
Maybe before you've truly built the foundation for it.
Exactly. And the antidote to all this emotional turmoil, according to the source, it's simple but incredibly hard. It's patience.
Patience.
Patience is called the ultimate wealth skill. Why? Because compounding the engine of wealth growth takes time. Years. Decades sometimes.
And our emotions hate waiting.
They despise it.
Yeah.
We want results now. So patience requires resisting that urge to chase quick fixes, hot stocks, get-rich-quick schemes. It reminds me of that Warren Buffett quote.
Which one?
The stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. It perfectly captures that psychological battle.
Okay. So the truly wealthy person, or the person building real wealth, they get that raise and they quietly invest it. They choose to live below their means, maybe for a while.
Yes. Or, as the source might put it, they learn to delay the need to be seen successful in order to actually build a secure life that no one can take away later.
So real wealth isn't just the net worth number. It's measured more by inner peace, self-control.
That seems to be the argument. Managing yourself is the hardest but most crucial part of the game.
Yeah.
And then finally, when you start mastering those first 4 rules, the mindset, the leverage, the impact, the psychology, you can move to the highest level of thinking, which is rule 5. Build wealth that outlives you. The legacy.
Legacy.
This is where the fundamental question shifts again. You stop asking just, how much can I make for myself? And you start asking something much bigger. What will remain when I'm gone?
Wow. Okay, that completely changes the focus from just personal accumulation to continuation, to meaning.
Exactly. Legacy isn't really about the stuff you leave behind the house, the stocks. It's more like planting trees whose shade you might never personally fit under.
I like that.
It's built through the principles you instill, the habits you pass down, the systems or ideas you create that keep going. Things like discipline, purpose, maybe generosity, wisdom.
Yeah.
That's the real inheritance.
So money, at this stage, it stops being the goal or the trophy.
It completely sheds that role. It becomes a vehicle, a tool to carry your purpose, your values into the future.
How so? Like funding things you care about.
Yeah, maybe it's funding a foundation or endowing a scholarship for something you're passionate about, or simply setting up your kids or grandkids, not just with money, but with the financial education and the mindset, that operating system we talked about. So they start from a place of advantage and wisdom, not emotional baggage around money.
So the journey kind of completes a circle here, doesn't it? You start by learning how to earn effectively.
Then you learn how to keep it, manage the psychology.
Then you learn how to grow it using leverage and compounding.
And finally, you reach a stage where you learn how to give back, how to perpetuate the cycle, how to build something beyond yourself.
That's powerful. And the ultimate insight the source leaves us with here is,
It's profound, really. Money dies. Legacy doesn't. The whole wealth creation journey, seen through this lens, was never just about what you could pile up for yourself. It was about what could flow through you to make a lasting impact. So if you've really absorbed these 5 rules, these counterintuitive ideas, you've hopefully started the process of shifting that financial operating system we mentioned at the start.
yeah, it's a significant shift. We've covered moving from focusing just on math to mindset.
Right, and from just labor to leverage.
From valuing only effort to understanding impact.
From giving in to impulsivity to mastering self-control.
And finally, from mere accumulation to thinking about continuation and legacy.
Exactly. Those are the big pivots.
And the takeaway seems to be that the transformation really starts the moment you decide to think differently and then act differently based on that thinking.
Yeah. You don't necessarily need luck or permission from anyone or some huge inheritance to start. You just need the courage, maybe, to stop following the script that keeps so many people running hard but staying in the same place.
So as you go about your day, your week, maybe forget the super complex spreadsheets for a minute. Forget the frantic saving of every single penny.
Yeah, for a moment. Instead, the source suggests committing to this single, quiet question, something to reflect on maybe each night. And it might do more to guide your actual wealth-building decisions than any calculation.
Okay, what's the question?
Did I move closer to freedom today?
Did I move closer to freedom today? Not did I earn more or did I save more, but did I move closer to freedom?
Exactly, because freedom Financial freedom, time freedom, freedom from money anxiety. That's arguably the true measure of wealth. And it's built not in huge leaps, but through those daily choices, daily practices. It's a direction, not just a destination.
A powerful thought to end on. Until next time, keep building.